It's a weekend of media. President Trump hits the economy, immigration, and Iran on Meet the Press. Our White House correspondent Elizabeth Mitchell gets a few questions answered on Air Force One, and CNN interviews a member of the Sinaloa drug cartel. I'm Tony Kinnett of the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Monday, May 5th, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. While some of the Sunday shows, like ABC's This Week, are struggling severely, NBC's Meet the Press nabbed an exclusive with President Trump. Kristen Welker asked Trump about the economy, about prices. Here was that back and forth.
Prices are already going up on some popular items, tires, strollers.
This is such a dishonest interview already. Prices are down on groceries. Prices are down for oil. Prices are down for all energy. Prices are down at tremendous numbers for gasoline. And let me tell you, when you have the big thing, what he did, he spent like a stupid person, which he was, but he spent like a very stupid person. And that was bad for inflation. But what really killed us with inflation was the price of energy. The media is so fake, including, like even the way you ask questions. Every question is asked in a negative vein. There's a toy company that took a toddler's, whatever, but you don't talk about the fact that gasoline is down at numbers that nobody believes possible. You know why they're down, by the way? Drill, baby, drill. We're drilling like crazy right now.
We try to make sure every question is fair, Mr. President.
Look, every question you ask says a very negative slant.
No, but look, I'm just curious.
And I'm fine for responding to you. I don't think you're very difficult at all to respond to be honest with you. But you know what? You should ask some positive things like, sir, it's amazing what you've done with gasoline. Because you know what? Gasoline's big business. A stroller is not big business.
Trump also pushed back on a couple of leading questions about illegal immigration. Here you go.
Mr. President, should lawful residents of this country start carrying paperwork with them when they leave their homes?
I don't think that'll be necessary. But what you're not saying is that many people have been killed, maimed, badly hurt by illegal immigrants that came over that are from prisons and from jails and from mental institutions, and they're hurting our people. And if we don't get them out, we're not going to have a country for long. We need honest. We need honest media, and we need walls. We need to have borders. And by the way, I built a lot of walls, and if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be able to have those. We would not be able to have the kind of numbers if I wasn't successful in building hundreds of miles of wall.
And last but not least, on Iran. Iran, through the Houthis, struck Israel over the weekend. The U.S. THAAD missile system and the Israeli Iron Dome were not able to intercept this non-hypersonic, more of a standard ballistic missile attack, which struck near the Ben Gurion airport. Trump expands on Secretary of State Marco Rubio's earlier suggestion that Iran does not need any enriched uranium at all by making it explicitly clear.
Iran. Your administration has had conversations with Iran. Is the goal of these talks limiting Iran's nuclear program or total dismantlement?
Total dismantlement.
That's all you'll accept?
That's all I'd accept. Okay. Now, there's a new theory going out there that Iran would be allowed to have civilian, meaning to make electricity. But I say, they have so much oil, what do they need it for? But I've seen it with other states where they're looking to do something and they have a lot of oil. Iran has tremendous energy. I put sanctions, if you know that. I put pretty strong sanctions on 2 days ago on the oil. The sad part is that if Biden didn't get involved, if we had a competent president, you would have never had the attack on Israel. October 7th would have never taken place. Hamas would have had no money because Iran was broke. And now in a period of 4 years during the Biden administration, they became very rich. They have over $300 billion cash in the bank. And they had no money. They were ready to make a deal with me. And it's very sad. Because of this rigged election, they didn't do it. Just another thing you can mark down to a bad election.
It's interesting what you're saying, though, because Secretary Rubio has said that he would accept, or the idea is there is an openness to accepting peaceful civil nuclear program.
Well, that's what people, I didn't say anything contradictory. I said that people are talking about that, and this is something that's really pretty new in the dialogue. And I'd have to be, my inclination is to say, what do you need that for? You have a lot of oil.
So you want total dismantlement, bottom line.
I think that I would be open to hearing it. Civilian energy, it's called. But, civilian energy often leads to military wars. And we don't want to have them have a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple deal. I want Iran to be really successful, really great, really fantastic. The only thing they can't have is a nuclear weapon.
Okay.
If they want to be successful, that's okay. I want them to be so successful. And the Iranian people are incredible. I just don't want them to have a nuclear weapon because the world will be destroyed.
Our White House correspondent, Elizabeth Mitchell, was aboard Air Force One with the President of the United States yesterday evening. She got a few questions off at the president, including one about the future of the United States judicial system, specifically which nominees are in the future from the Trump administration.
What's your timeline on the rest of your judicial nominations? And what's your criteria on your picking
Which nominations?
the future judicial nominations for the federal judge positions?
Well, we're putting them in rapidly. We're trying to get very good ones. We need judges that are not going to be demanding trials for every single illegal immigrant. We have millions of people that have come in here illegally, and we can't have a trial for every single person. That would be millions of trials. The people elected me in a landslide with we won every swing state, we won everything there is to win by big numbers. Not only swing state, we won the popular vote by millions of votes. They elected me, this was the number one issue, and now we have judges radicalized, and they're crazy, because they want us to have, if you believe this, they want us to have a trial for every person that came in illegally into our country. So they come into our country illegally, and then we're supposed to take weeks, I guess, and months to have a trial on every criminal, and we have murderers all over the country. I don't think the Supreme Court will stand for that. I can't believe it. Because you know what? If they do, we're not going to have a country.
How will you make sure,
Go ahead.
how will you make sure, like the judges, that you fight for different?
What you can do is do the best you can. You try and appoint the best people to be judges or anything else that you appoint. But so far, you've been very disappointed with the decisions that come out, and mostly from the people appointed by others than me. But it's just so hard to believe that you have a murderer. Many, we have 11,888, or whatever the number is. We have thousands of murderers in this country. We're getting them out. And they say, we don't want them out. We want them to stay in our country until they have a trial. Trials take years. They take years. It's so crazy. We won't have a country left. We can't have that happen.
The rest of the legacy media is struggling rather severely. CNN decided that it was the right time to interview a member of the Sinaloa drug cartel, widely believed as one of the most ruthless and most abusive cartels currently in operation.
I mean, according to the Trump administration, you are a terrorist. I mean, the cartels have been labeled a foreign terrorist organization. What do you make of that?
Well, the situation is ugly, but we have to eat.
What's your message to Donald Trump, if he's watching this?
My respect. According to him, he's looking out for his people. But the problem is the consumers are in the U.S. If there weren't any consumers, we would stop.
There is a lot of violence playing out on these streets here at the moment every day, right? I mean, people are dying on a daily basis. Children are afraid to go to school. Do you have any sense of remorse over your role and your involvement in this group?
Of course. Of course. Things are sad, but, well, things are sad.
His phone is pinging. Someone is nearby. He tells us we need to leave for our own safety.
Typically on a Top News in 10 Monday episode, we'd show you a clip from ABC News this week. However, for maybe the first time, ABC either wasn't able or chose not to host a single currently elected official or cabinet member. So, if you're going to tune in to a classic news commentary show, I recommend you head over to the Tony Kinnett Cast this evening at 7 p.m. where we don't have quite the same number of retractions or false headlines as the aforementioned news network. Check the description down below to make sure you're subscribed. I'm Tony Kinnett, and this has been the Daily Signal's Top News in 10. Take care.